Welcome back. Let's now move on to the world of the film industry. The Joburg Film Festival at Joburg Theatre on the Square opens on next week in Sandton from the 26th of February to the 3rd of March. The event focuses on curating and showcasing African and international films and also serves as a hub for youth and filmmakers. We're now joined by one of those young filmmakers and director of the film, Musangwe, and Lufuno Nekhabambe now joins us in studio to talk more about his film. You have conducted a film. It's called Musangwe. Maybe just tell us about this film. What went into making it?
So it's Nekhabambe, sorry. So Musangwe was a film that was written by Siposetu Chapo. And so after he had brought me in, he told me about the story, and so with the research that was done about it was that it's a film about, well, basically the history of Musangwe is something that happened in the early 1800s basically, where young men would go out and, go and be with their herds and stuff like that, And when that was happening, some people would, oh man. So sorry about that, I'm just exceptionally nervous right now. So when that would happen, basically, they would...
Take your time, it's fine. Don't worry, we are here.
This is so weird because I'm used to being behind the scenes and not in front of the camera. Yeah, so it was about people that would go herding and go hunting basically. And during that time, it would be something that would happen amongst themselves where they would decide, okay, let's just have a brawl, So while they would brawl there, that's when the idea and concept of Musangwe basically came from, because it was something that they would do amongst themselves and keep it to themselves, and later on the woman at home wouldn't, they're not supposed to know basically about Musangwe. And, oh gosh. Yeah, so sorry. So,
okay, maybe tell us about the story then that you tell in this film, because we know it's a traditional vendor boxing sort of sport which is conducted. It's still till this day, I must say, it's still being conducted. Maybe tell us about the story then of this film. Where is it located and what does it actually talk about?
Okay, so Musangwe is a film that or an activity that happens in Venda basically, right? So with that history, we are trying to get that history just publicly known, So with the story itself, it centers around our character, Taki. So Taki goes and he's trying to emulate his father, basically. So within that, it's he goes and goes into the... Oh, crap, guys. No.
Okay, maybe also then let's just talk about
so sorry, guys.
The inspiration. Unfortunately, this is live television. So
I know this is live television. I'm gonna be like a meme now.
So maybe let's talk about, Lufuno, let's talk about maybe the inspiration then behind the film. I don't know if you are able to tell us that. What is the inspiration centered around?
The inspiration was, it's got to do with the history, the history of Musangwe, and at least having to have that level of the culture, to be told, because a lot of our culture has not been basically out there. And now that was something that I felt that, okay, here's an opportunity to actually tell the story. So let's definitely just go out there and do that.
And looking at this vision you have for this film, I mean, this is a tradition that dates back, like you said, since the 1800s. What was your vision for this film?
It was to just keep it as light and as simple as possible. you know. So with that, my style for the film was, I wanted to go for like a nice, raw, authentic, gritty look, you know. So it's like very much like Steadicam operated. With that at least then the viewer can be with the characters at all times, basically, you know. Because usually with a lot of films, things are very usually like stagnant, but because this is more like a sports drama, I wanted to just get like that edge and that grit going with it, you know. So at least then when you are watching the film, you see that, okay, and at the same time I also wanted to get a bit of some blood as well, you know, just to like have, just to, because it's a knuckle busting activity that happens within the event. So I decided, okay, to separate the boxing to the knuckle busting, so let's just rather have it a bit more, you know, edgy and a bit more raw. So that's like the nice parts and the nice scenes that one would actually appreciate even more during the film.
And when viewers watch this film, what do you want them to take away from the story you're telling?
Just to at least understand, you know, the culture as a whole, you know, to know that at least culturally, a lot of things don't happen for, I would say, vendor stories much, you know. So this is something that at least would educate the public and have people see that, okay, this is actually something that also happens in our country, you know, and within this tribe of people that that's not really, that doesn't really have much out there, you know. So just to like tell more authentic stories like that would definitely be something that I want people to relate to. And at the same time, there's also the journeys, you know, like the character's journey, you know, because it's also something that that would be about courage, you know. It's the character's courage to do and be who he wants to be, you know, because there's a point where like the character that plays his mom basically doesn't want him to be doing what he does, you know, and kind of like speaks you know, very high about how she feels. So she's got reservations about that. So he decides like, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. So it's definitely a story about courage and just for people to just do what they feel like doing.
All right, then, Lufuno, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for coming into studio and finally doing this interview.
I know, I'm so sorry, I'm like so nervous and yeah, exceptionally anxious. Apologies. I'll learn more about being in front of the camera.
All right, that is Lufuno Nekhabambe. He is the director of Musangwe, and you can watch that film at the Joburg Film Festival starting from next week.